Alright, so no, no one can see these videos. It's private. Only you can see it. So I Andrew calls me and I say hi. And he says, "Hi. The picture you sent me, this man in the picture is called Matthew. He lives here in Worcester and he is crazy. He's real and he's basically like a street person. He's always on the street looking for his next prey. And this man is nuts. He'll go on one date with you and then he'll think you're his boyfriend and you'll get all these crazy texts the next day. And then anyway, he was like, "All right. I know him because this is Andrew. I know him because I met up with him." I'm like, "Right." And he was like, "So me and Richard, which is Andrew's boyfriend, he's like, we went to his house, this Matthew person, and um, yeah, it's just like this man will just go crazy and like stalk you, and everybody in Worcester has dealt with this." And he was like, "You think the real um, social reform movement is happening right now? This is the real social reform movement. Get Matthew out of Worcester." And he says that everybody knows him, and it's like a rite of passage. And he said that he's like, I'm very lucky that he didn't know where I lived, or the next day, like. And he said that they like he fucked Andrew or whatever. And then he's like, "George, this man, it really is a shame to humankind because this man has the most magnificent penis I have ever seen, the most perfect, the biggest, most perfect cock I've ever seen in my life." And I was like, "Okay, we'll send it." But he didn't. He doesn't have it. Although he has like a whole library of cocks. He's worse than me. Anyway, but he says he doesn't have it. Anyway, so and then he said, "And there's more." And I said, "What?" And he said, "George, picture the worst. What's the worst thing you can think of about this disgusting person?" And I was like, "I can't think of a worse scenario." And he's just like, "Ryan, my friend Ryan, Matthew was his first. He took his virginity." And I had to like lie down because this man looks like he smells. And Andrew said he did. He smelled, and I think Andrew said like he smelled like a bale of hay, or like a stall, a horse's stall. And Ryan smelled like a dirty toilet. Oh, Andrew, okay, no, he said that Matthew's room smelled, the man smelled like a stall, a gym stall, like a public park stall, construction worker stall. And then, so he says that Ryan, and I'm just picturing these two men in the same room fucking each other, and like Ryan smelled like shit anyway, and I'm just like, this is impossible. He's like, "I know, it's rough." Um, but he was like, "Well, at least you're safe." And he's like, what did you, why are you asking?" And then I had to tell him about James, and he doesn't know anything about James. Um, so I had to tell him everything then, and um, I was not prepared to tell this tale, and I told the part where Andrew comes in too, and Andrew was just like, "What did you tell him about me?" And like asking all these questions, and I'm like, "What? I shouldn't have said anything." And like I'm just digging a deeper hole, and I'm like, I'm gonna offend him, and I'm like, I was trying really, really hard not to let what happened with not to do with James what happened with you. And I was like, that's kind of why like I answered his question so honestly, but I didn't know he had like a photographic memory. So I told him, I was like, I'm like, "Andrew, I when I called you, I was fearing for my life. I thought, here's what I thought. I thought James had made up this whole thing to for my attention. And I'm like, he really snapped, and he's gonna kill me. This man's gonna kill me. And Andrew's like laughing on the other line, and I'm like, I'm serious. Like, I had Samantha on the line. I'm for real. Like, I had to pee when this started, and it lasted for like 3 hours, and I didn't pee until 1 in the morning. And I was just like, so Andrew convinced me. Andrew had to convince me that Matthew was a real person, but I was very relieved. And Matthew is real. And but I told him that all these things, I had to explain him everything, like how I think James has like a photographic memory that he told me that he did, and like all these things seemed so perfectly like. And then I told him about the suicide note. Oh, and Andrew was just like, you have to send me this Matthew, this Worcester person. You have to send me all these links. I want to see all the pictures. I want to see the suicide note. I want to. And I told him, oh, Andrew, he's posting right now. And he was posting like, he was supposedly dead already. So he was like, here are some of Matthew's things. So, like, I guess it's not James pretending to be Matthew at this point. So, it says like, it's, I guess Matthew wrote it himself and like pretending to commit suicide for James to, for James's attention. And he posted a book, and it was a book of poems. There's like a whole book, like a published book of poems that Matthew Hardy has written, and they're all in the same vein of like love, a breakup or something. And Andrew's like, send me the book. But Andrew's like, oh, and this is all on a Google. These are all Google Drive things. So and there was also like a photo album of his modeling portfolio, and like his photography that he does, and like a bunch of like so many poems and things. Like, it was crazy. And I'm reading all of it, and like, and then Samantha was like, George, he can see your email if he's on Google Drive. You can see the person that's viewing it. And I'm like, I anyway. So then, but Andrew, yeah, Andrew, I didn't know that, but like Andrew was just like, you're gonna send me a copy of the book and of everything, but I'm not going anywhere near this man's Google Drive. He's gonna know he's gonna come for me. He's gonna kill me. And I was like, this is like deep. And oh, there's more. Andrew said that the court cases that and like the restraining order and the arrests that I see on when you Google his name, Matthew Hardy's in Worcester, it's because Andrew dated a guy in college who went and dated Matthew after, and apparently he was the first one to like file legal proceedings against him. So all that stuff, that's like Andrew's ex as well. So, and so he said that it was just like James is saying, like, come to your house, sending you flowers, like crazy shit, posting pictures of you guys together everywhere. Like, oh my god. And now I'm feeling really bad for James, but also like afraid of him. And um and then James, okay, so James is still texting me, but like I'm on the phone with all these people trying to make sure James is not a serial killer. And then he said, James decided this was a great opportunity to say also, but hey, maybe if like you're free, like maybe we could go out and have like a walk or like talk a little bit. We could go to like a veranda at a restaurant somewhere. And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. I think we should just like be friends. And I feel like if we get together, we're gonna fuck. And he was like, I don't think that would happen, but I respect your decision and your opinion. and he said all this stuff, and he started talking about how he broke up with me, even though it was so weird because I went there to make up with him, and he was just like, "You don't care about me." Um, and he's like, "I felt you didn't do anything wrong. I just felt like you were gonna ghost me sooner than later, so I might as well rip the band-aid off myself." And I'm like, I was going over there to like tell him that we're gonna be like exclusive and stuff, so it was like the opposite. So this man is really self-sabotaging. Anyway, alcoholism. So, and then I said, "Please be safe. I am very scared for you." But what I meant to say was, "Please be safe. I'm scared." And he said, "Me? I'm minding my own business. It's this man who's the crazy one. Oh, look what he's posting now." And then I guess he realized that he finally saw the suicide post. So I guess he does follow him on Facebook. And it says, "He's got all his friends thinking he's dead." All right, now I'm going to read you the suicide post. "Rest in peace to my twin brother, Matthew Hardy's, who was found dead this morning from an overdose, with a suicidal letter to me about his recent ex-boyfriend." Do you see how this sounds made up? And when I saw this whole Facebook, I thought it was made up by James. And Andrew was just like, "George, you are fucking crazy." And I'm like, "No, you don't understand." Um, Andrew was a little offended that like I told James about stuff. Ugh. But I had to say it. Um, and then he said, "My dad went over to Matthew's house to get some stuff he stole from me. And that was today, so he's alive and kicking." I don't know what to say. Um, and then today, I'm on Matthew Hardy's today. He deleted some of the creepy stuff and the suicide stuff, so I guess he's alive again because he's posted new pictures of himself. And it's the caption, there's like a heading on his page, and it says, "My heart was stolen forever by a man." And there's also a bouquet of flowers. There's a picture of a bouquet of flowers that he sent James, the one that James told us about. And he wrote, $100 today on these flowers, and I don't think he'll even appreciate the gesture. Yeah, because you're fucking a psychopath. And there's a lot of poetry. I can't even choose one for you. You're gonna have to. "We weren't forever. The flowers don't last forever. They never last forever. So get plastic instead. 'Cause you want to live? You, a bubble around you? Don't worry about the time, changing of seasons. It's never time to cry. It's never good time to laugh at joke at funeral." This is a good one. Alright, should I wrap this up? That was it. And I didn't get killed. And I feel safe now.